It is 1 p.m. in New York. It is 7 p.m. right now at the Vatican. Hello and welcome. We're going to be talking about the unique relationship that exists between art and the environment. We've got a lot of resources dedicated to going through all of the social networking sites out there. You're scratching your head about what a caucus is and how it actually works. This is the guy we need to talk to. It's all a game of chess. Guess what? Dave has got some more material. He's got yet another song. Two Japanese car makers are already well on their way to finding that balance. Well, he said it. The British Prime Minister Gordon Brown has used the D word. How it got this bad is up for debate. Bad management, bad union contracts, bad economy, take your pick. Well, there is more news right here on CNN coming up in 30 minutes time. Coke has not said yet when or if this stuff will hit the market with a sizzle or whether it will simply fizzle. Colleen, McEdwards, CNN, Atlanta. Well, Iran's first step into space has plenty of people worried back on Earth. On Monday, Iran conducted what it called a successful launch. We saw those red arrows on our Asia board there, lots of them in London too, and it is that sell-off in Asian markets. And some of the European markets as well, that's really pushing stocks lower on Wall Street. Another unusual case, really still capturing the nation's attention, making people scratch their head, wonder what on earth went on and what is next. We are talking about the case of J.C. Dugard. She's the girl who was taken from her home 18 years ago when she was just 11 years old. The Vatican is demanding that a controversial bishop who denies the Holocaust publicly recant his views. Well, golden parachutes no more. The U.S. President Barack Obama wants companies using federal bailout funds to be held accountable. It is time now for a question of the day. And this one was, as they say, ripped from today's headlines. Ripped from, boy, just a couple hours ago when we got this announcement. Jim Clancy joins us now. He's in the CNN International Newsroom with your responses. Hey there, Jim.
Got the responses right here.
We want to bring you more now on a breaking story we've been covering out of Washington. Barack Obama's nominee for one of the key posts in his government, Health and Human Services Secretary Tom Daschle, has withdrawn from the running over a controversy over unpaid taxes. We've got Ed Henry standing by with the very latest on this. Ed, what's going on there?
Colleen McEdwards is joining us live now from the CNN Iran desk to tell us what the latest video and images we've been able to see. Colleen.
That's right, Release. It makes our coverage so difficult, but we've got a lot of resources dedicated to going through all of the social networking sites out there, pulling off the latest. And I want to start by showing you Mr. Mousavi's Facebook page that we talked about just a few moments ago, where he is now quoted as saying that Iran's ruling system is going to the slaughterhouse because of this fraudulent election. At least that's what his Facebook page is quoting him as saying. As you mentioned, we haven't actually seen him or heard from him in days. Imagine buying a $500,000 house in a field of weeds surrounded by for sale signs.
We knew that the neighborhood was having some issues, but we loved the home.
That's exactly what Don Williams did. 400 homes were planned for this subdivision. Only 13 were ever built. Do you think there's any chance anybody's going to build on that?
No time soon. I wouldn't say in the next 5 years or so. I wouldn't.
Now, he and his neighbors are finding a way to enjoy the peace and quiet. This is Waterlay Subdivision gone bust. It's one of hundreds of abandoned residential meccas around the United States, better known as zombie subdivisions. You don't have to worry about cars running the stop signs on Hewitt Drive or violating the posted speed limits. No children in the boarded-up playhouse, no one enjoying a cocktail at the unfinished clubhouse where the pool and the tennis courts were meant to be. This was clearly not the developer's vision. He went bankrupt and then it was like dominoes from there. The lender tried to sell the properties, but then the bank failed as well, crushed under an avalanche of bad real estate loans. The housing crisis feeds the banking crisis. So before any of the fancy amenities like tennis courts and swimming pools went in here, this place was finished. Now all that's left are hundreds of vacant lots that no one is likely to ever want to buy. U.S. banks are taking huge losses as the pace of foreclosures on these dreams gone bust picks up. In Atlanta alone, there have been more than 9,000 foreclosures in the past 16 months on commercial real estate. That's according to Smart Numbers, a company that tracks property sales. Some foreclosures are entire subdivisions and massive condo complexes. The total dollar value is staggering, $3.3 billion in foreclosed property. And that's just one city in a little more than 1 year.
So this shows, downtown Atlanta, and then all around the outside of the city, you see all this color showing vacant lots.
Steve Palm is president of Smart Numbers. He calls this map the Ring of Death, where more than 100,000 building lots sit empty.
It's like instead of a gold rush, it was a dirt rush.
A dirt rush.
Yeah, and we're paying for it now.
So far this year, more Georgia banks have failed than in any other state, and it's mainly because of staggering losses in real estate.
Most any bank is in trouble right now. It's just some are more in trouble than others. I mean, we're in a deep, deep recession, and if you're a bank, you're definitely going to feel part of it.
Palm forecasts a double dip in U.S. housing for the year 2010. Even though housing starts have improved, jumping 1.5% in August, mainly on new apartment construction. It's a glimmer of hope, but foreclosures keep hammering the banks, and the housing market is still oversupplied.
This one probably won't materialize anytime soon.
You angry sometimes?
There's not been any times that I've been angry, but disappointed of what could have been.
It's been a wild and ugly ride that for the residents of Waterlace is not over yet. Colleen McEdwards, CNN, Fayetteville, Georgia. Remember high school chemistry and your periodic table? Atomic number 1, symbol H. It's hydrogen, the most abundant element in the universe. It's a colorless, odorless, combustible gas that powers stars. Thinking stars? Well, now think cars. This is the Equinox fuel cell electric vehicle, powered by hydrogen.
It's a very clean car. The other unique thing about this car that's, it consumes no petroleum. There's no engine oil, there's no transmission fluid, no gasoline.
The Equinox is Mark Van's baby. He says GM has spent more than 10 years looking at hydrogen fuel cells as a way to reduce global dependency on oil.
The world's petroleum supply is a finite thing. The world's auto market is growing. What we're trying to show, is that this technology is fun. It's exciting. Who wouldn't want transportation that can go without a drop of petroleum, and produces no harmful gases?
Car emits nothing but water vapor and makes no noise because there's no engine. A screen on the dash shows 3 fuel cells under the back seat that power the car. It can go about 170 miles, or about 270 kilometers, before you have to fill up the tanks. And that's the big drawback with hydrogen. There is very little infrastructure, at least not yet, to fuel these cars.
Why hasn't this happened before?
The main reason is that we have a really big chicken and egg problem right now. Is that, why would anybody sign up to mass produce these cars when I can't get fuel?
Yeah.
And why would anybody put in fueling stations if there's no cars in the road?
Even though the fuel cell car is still light years away from commercial reality, GM is testing the Equinox in a few areas where hydrogen fuel stations are available. There are about 100 of the vehicles on the road in the United States, in Los Angeles, New York, and Washington, D.C. There are 10 of them being tested in Berlin, 3 in Shanghai, 1 in Tokyo, and 1 in South Korea. Critics say hydrogen fuel cells are expensive technology, with too long a time horizon before it will make any significant impact on the environment. They say there are cheaper alternatives like hybrids and electrics, and that is exactly where the U.S. car companies are banking their competitive future. It's like a race to see who's the greenest. General Motors says the Chevy Volt will be ready next year, and it's upped the ante with a concept car. It's Cadillac Converge, a plug-in hybrid luxuriously dressed up. Chrysler promises a whole family of electric cars. Toyota brought out its new Prius, and Honda put a fresh face on its Insight hybrid. Ford unveiled a collection of electrics and hybrids that it plans to push ahead of schedule, having them ready by the year 2012.
Again, it goes back to a point of view about the future. We think we're going to pay more for energy going forward, and we absolutely believe that energy independence and security are going to be up higher on all of our agendas.
But if gas prices in the United States stay low, some fear this vision of greener cars and more profitable companies could evaporate. The thinking being that as long as gas is cheap, consumers won't demand an alternative, like they did when gas hit more than $4 a gallon in the U.S. last year.
We had 25 years of away we went with SUVs and trucks with cheap fuel. And the risk is that that could happen again and really diminish our ability to bring these new technologies to the marketplace in a timely fashion.
If you want to understand how the Madoff scandal hits home, meet 90-year-old Ian Thierman and his wife Terry. Thierman lived through the Great Depression of the 1930s. He learned to save and says he had almost $700,000 invested with Madoff. His attorney called him when the scandal broke with devastating news. His life savings was gone.
When he called me in December, he was in a state of total shock. I've never heard of him. I mean, he was an attorney. He said, my father, my mother, my aunts, uncles, we have lost everything. I have lost everything, and you've lost everything.
He still has house payments to make, and his wife has medical bills that are piling up. Determined to get through this, Thierman is working 30 hours a week for $10 US an hour. He just refuses to feel sorry for himself.
They've put this job out for me, and so I'm going to do the best I can.
Market owner Ron Clements calls Thierman an inspiration to others going through tough financial times.
His will to succeed after losing everything, people are saying to me, you know what, I'm going to step up to the plate. I'm just not going to sit here and take it.
This Central California story of determination in a desperate situation is a long way from the New York penthouse where Bernard Madoff remains under house arrest. Some say in the lap of luxury with access to millions. You might expect some bitterness on the other end of this spectrum, but the Thiermans just won't go there. They pity the former NASDAQ chairman for his alleged fraud scheme.
I feel sorry for him because he has to live with the consequences of what he did.
And living with the consequences is what thousands of investors are having to do as well. Colleen McEdwards, CNN, Atlanta.